I'm gonna use myself as an example, so people won't feel like I'm coming at them, right? So I just had my new baby. Everybody see me, right? As y'all can see, it say, born out of wedlock, right? So they said, my son, right? Quote unquote, not really my son, but the certificate, they call certificate of birth, right? They saying it's born out of wedlock, okay? So I keep telling people we're under covenants and we under customs, okay? Born out of wedlock is a custom, okay? I want y'all to understand this. You read it. You read this in the Bible, okay? So this is mean that my child can't inherit the kingdom. It's a bastard child and it's illegitimate, okay? It can't inherit. It can't inherit anything, the estate, okay? It says born out of wedlock, okay? This is 2025. I'm letting y'all understand, okay? I had my child January 1st, okay? So as much as people think that this is the game and that born out of wedlock, oh, I just read that in the Bible or something, right? But I just recently had a child and they said born out of wedlock, okay? So now you understand that no one's claimed him, right? The mom is listed as an informant, okay? Mom gonna be listed as informant. One, she don't have rights over the child to give the estate up. That's one. So in all reality, I can actually sue the mother for actually creating this certificate of birth, because that child is my heir, okay? That's why it's Father, Son, Holy Ghost. This relationship is sacred, okay? And this is why God wanted the men to get close to him, all right? And it's nothing against y'all females, so we got bigger responsibility. So understand. So now I have a child born out of wedlock, meaning he's not claimed, he's abandoned, okay? The mother went in there and created this and gave it to the state, right? So you see that it says creating a receipt or a certificate or a bond, right? Or a bond. See the red numbers? Okay? Or a bond under seal. This is a specialty. This is a deed of trust, okay? Instrument under seal or a contract under seal is a specialty contract, okay? It represents a deed of trust, okay? So now, what I must do, the father, I must now record a deed of conveyance, okay? I must record and claim my child with my trust, okay? I must claim my child estate, because this is not in real life my child, but it represents his estate that's going to take care of him for life. It was a gift from God that attached to him naturally, okay? So when you see this government is one nation under God, okay, and then your currency say in God we trust, you got to understand this is why God created it for you. So until a father, UCC, okay, till a father, deed of trust, county record, the county he was born in, right? And until the father does this and claim this certificate that it created, okay, your child is abandoned. Your child is abandoned, okay? The estate of the child is abandoned. This is why DIFUS can come and take your children. This is why your kid could go to jail and you can't do nothing about it, right? This is why a lot of things that they're being taxed, they got to pay. They don't know how to discharge. They don't have access to these instruments to create credit, to take care of themselves. Okay, you got to understand, this is the position y'all putting yourself at if you don't claim your estate. Now think about it. So women are looked at as informants. They're telling a private government, a state, that they have a gift for them, right? Because your labor is God's gift, right, to you. Okay, so they're saying, yo, I have an asset and I'm informing you that I have an asset. Okay, and they exchange it for this certificate and a social security number to get benefits, federal benefits, right? So they exchange their estate, where it's probably going to generate billions of dollars, right? Or credits, for a birth certificate and a social security card. And then now you're a subject. You're not a king. You're not the executor over the state. You're not an heir. You're considered a taxpayer, a resident, You see all of these other names that you traded. So until this is done, you got to think about that. If a woman is not married, she doesn't have say-so over the estate. Okay? If she's not married to that man, if her and that man doesn't have a trust agreement, she doesn't have say-so over the child's estate or inheritance. I just want you to understand that. Okay? And if you think I'm tripping, and if you think, oh, that's old age, they talking, it say born out of wedlock. We're still in the old age. This is 2025. They said my child born out of wedlock. We're still in the old age. So you got to understand, if you're not equipped in that Bible, I'm telling y'all gonna miss it. I feel like society did. It tricked women to saying they don't need men because all the men gonna claim their estates and take care of them. You understand that? Like, as me being a man, right? Y'all gotta understand. I'm the man. Remember, Christ, after Christ is the man, right? And then the woman underneath that. You gotta understand. And the seed follows the father. Okay? The father identifies the child. The father gives the child the inheritance. The father teaches the child. The same men that gotta claim their estate, their kids' estate, and could possibly take care of them for life. You gotta understand this. Because if her father doesn't claim her, she's abandoned. She's a ward of estate. She's property. You go to a woman right now. If her father never claimed her estate, property can't own property. She's a minor. She's considered a ward of the state, a minor. Okay? So if she's a minor in a ward of the state, then she can't own property. She can't own property. You understand? This is why marriage was important back in the old time. And it's still important now because we're still in these old times. And when everybody start to claim their estates and their child's estates, they're going to see that they need a man. A man has to be an executor over that estate. Okay, they need a living man to control the family business. Okay, that's how it always was. That's how it's always going to be. This is God's law. I want y'all to understand this. Okay, so this is why the woman was submissive. This is why the woman was obedient. This is why the woman wasn't out of control, because she knew that at the end of the day, God said God, Christ, man, and woman. And the man is supposed to take care of his duties. He is supposed to take care of his duties. So now they got women, what? I'm independent. I could do this. I could do that. We don't need a man. Guess what? When men wake up to what God left them in the office that they're supposed to operate, you absolutely going to need men. This is all trust in estates. When you're dealing with trust in estates, this is how it goes. So if you have not done this, I went and got all the paperwork about my child, right? Okay? I put a lien on my child for $100 million. Okay? This is what my UCC1 is going to break down and say. Okay? So I put a lien on my child and I conveyed it, right? So when you go to the county, if you don't get a stamp on your executor deed, right? You ain't convey nothing. So you got to take the birth certificate because they got it in a public registry. You have to now take this off the public registry and put it in a private trust. You got to get a booking page. Okay? Okay. Then you got to go holler at the IRS. Our next move is the IRS. But I'm just showing y'all. This is very real. Okay? And I'm using myself as example so y'all don't think that I'm picking on women or people. This is my child. Okay? Okay. So if you have not claimed your child born out of wedlock, he's considered a bastard child, and that's me and you. That's me and you, and your youngins that you, right? When we came out, this is how we was coming. So now we get a social security number, right? Well, the social security card makes you a resident, a United States citizen, a debtor, a surety. Okay, so y'all can run around with this. It's a credit card crap if you want. You better get rid of it and get that estate EIN, or you ain't doing too much of nothing. Okay, if you think that side is cool because you got to build your credit, well, we use instruments and we create credit. So which one would I want more? Should I use that social security number and get a little credit score? Or I could discharge all debt and I create credit. You're still a debtor. You're still a 14th Amendment corporate citizen. You still got to pay taxes. You still got to pay a mortgage. You still paying bills of exchange. You got to understand, Everything is backed by full faith and credit of the people, of us. We back everything. This is nothing but credit, more and more credit that you don't know how to redirect back to yourself. Okay? Look at a contract as if you create one, you got to discharge it. So think about all the contracts you created that you never discharge, that you just keep paying debt notes. This don't do nothing. Do you understand why they keep coming back every 30 days? They keep coming back every 30 days because you keep giving them this. This doesn't satisfy a debt. A debt can't satisfy a debt. Okay? This is play money. The kingdom is only as rich as its government. And if you paid attention to the United States and you understand business, debt is good. When you 90 trillion in debt, it's a lot of credit on the other side. Remember, it's double book banking. So if it's debt on one side, it's credit on the other side. I want you to understand this. So if it's 90 whatever in debt, that's what it is on the credit side. And that's where we lie. Okay? So until we wake up to at least this part here, at least, okay? I can't post it enough. Okay? Like, why would he have a book and page number? Why would his birth certificate have a book and page number like land for real? Like, why would he have a book and page number on his birth certificate? Okay, God said, I made you from what? Made you from the land, right? God said, I made you from the land and blew breath from you, right? And now you got the breath of life. Why are our kids' birth certificates on the land records with a book and page number? What a red number, like look like a bond. And then born out of wedlock. That mean he can't enter the kingdom. That mean my son not falling under the covenant. I got to do something about that. Okay? Corporation rights. I want y'all to look it up. Got freedom of speech. All of that. The same shit you got. You thinking it's you. It's corporation. Now look. Arrival of a new identity. I want you to understand this, right? On admission to a Fundling hospital, each baby was given a unique number. The baby basic details including age, sex, any identifying marks. They put their feet on that. Okay. Where recorded on admission bullet, the child details where it is entered into the general register. The child is entered into a general register. Book and page number. Why would a child be entered into a registry? And just think, a register, a cash register, and the registrar, the cash register, and the register. Okay, y'all get it later. Don't worry about it. Something been deposited in the cash register, and the registrar got it of the company. Does that make sense? And it ain't their asset, but you gave it away. Okay? Now, before they was Christianed. So now your child was Christian, right? And given a new first name and surname. This new identity supposedly broken the link between parent and child and protected the mother's. Oh my, I just like, I want to post this, but because I know people sensitive. I know people sensitive, bro. And it ain't about feelings. It's just about fixing it. Okay? I'm not going to bash women. I'm just saying you need to know this. If you're a woman and you having babies, I'm saying you need to know this or you the problem. Okay? You need to know this or you the problem. Okay? So the mother has no autonomy, right? Only if a claims were made would the child identify and be revealed. So only if a claim was made. Now y'all see what I did. Okay? I got to state a claim. Okay? I got to go back and get that. Okay? My UCC. I have to go back and do that. All right? If I don't, then you understand what the state does. When they say you state property, you understand what that means. That means you have to go by their statutes and codes. You don't go by law. Okay? The Constitution does nothing for you, so don't bring it up. That's why they treat you like that. As soon as y'all start talking that Constitution, shut your dumb ass up. Because it don't apply to you. It only apply to people that's in a trust. That's in an express trust. That's the rights that backed up by the Constitution. People that operate in trust. Okay? So if you don't have an express trust, right? If you don't have an express trust written down, right? and it's not properly administrated, then you fall under a 14th Amendment. You fall under a person, a corporation, the Organic Act, right? 1871. Made everything a municipality or corporation, right? And then you're acting as this right here, as this person. So when they call you, you say yes, instead of saying, that's not me, this is my estate, I control my estate. Okay? You see, because they gave us a security interest once they created it. Once you create it, now you gave me a portion. I'm considered a shareholder. You got me looking like a shareholder. You got me getting dividends and credits quarterly. When your child become of age, it now sits in that office. Okay? When your child reach the age of majority, you now jump out the seat. They learn this, right? And you now put your child in that executive office. And now these children that we have need to learn how to run estates. Not ABCs and Disney. They need to learn banking. They need to know corporations. They need to know trust. They need to know securities. Because this is how the world works. Christ is trying to redeem you to get back in position, dominion, so you can control your birthright. Okay, I gave you dominion over the water, the land. That's all commerce. I gave you dominion. Okay, Adam lost that. Same thing like you. You lost that. You got that Esau spirit. You trade your birthright for some soup, for a birth certificate and a social security card. So social security card doesn't make it a security. It's you. It's your signature. It's your mark. Okay, it's not the social security card. It's going to do the same thing with your estate EIN. But now you got you're walking in power and authority now. Okay? You're in your fiduciary capacity where you're supposed to be. Like the original way. This is how God wanted it. Because you know, if I expose you to the public and I let the people know in the public and in court was what I'm saying is real, game over. But they won't. They will always settle out. They're going to make us sign a non-disclosure. They're going to make sure that we don't talk about it in the public. Right? That's why this is how it's all a secret, guys. It's all public and private. It's a public and private corporation. It's some shit that go in the public that could be said, but it's a lot of shit that go on in the private that y'all is missing. Y'all is missing this shit completely. Okay? And Facebook ain't going to tell you. TikTok ain't going to tell you. If you not going to read, you not going to get it. Period. So if you're not competent, stay out of debates with politics. If you're not competent, stop talking about the government because you don't understand what you're supposed to be doing. Now, when you run your estate and then you pay attention to government, you see what he's doing. You're going to love it here. Okay? When you get back to that creditor status, you're going to love it here. You're going to say, thank you, United States, because everything is backed by full faith and credit from you. Okay? We don't need gold. We don't need silver. We want this. Long as this get me silver and gold, why I'm complaining? This get me houses, land, food, why I'm complaining? Shut up. Master the game and shut up. If you still walking around with your government name and you didn't create an identity for yourself, you still don't understand. Okay? So that's why he said you got to be born again. So how was you born? Right? You got to think about this. How was you born? By paperwork, right? So when he said you got to be born again, you got to put yourself in the book of life. Okay? If you didn't put yourself in the book of life, you dead out here. You still that debtor. Right? And people know this. That's why they don't like giving them their. I ain't giving up my government name. You understand that's not your name. You understand that this is not you. We spiritually understand that shit. We shouldn't. Nah, I ain't giving you my government. Call me. You want to be called something else, right? Because you know. So why don't you give it back to him? Give it back. You could do a rescission. When you don't like a contract, see, this is the good thing about America. Everything's contract. If you don't like a contract, rescind it. I don't want this. I don't like how I'm treated. It's unfair. I'm not profiting. I don't want it. Tear it up. Okay? It's that simple. People think that the United States is more powerful than what they is, bro. They're nothing but Walmart. I'm going to stress this. 15 USC 3002. 15 USC. Put it in Google. 3002. 15A. And just boop. And watch they tell you that the United States is a federal corporation. You know what that means? It's a state-owned enterprise. Okay? It's a state-owned enterprise doing business for profit. That's what it is. So if it's doing business, guess what they doing business with your state? Okay? And you have to understand that. Now, you're getting older now. Okay? You worked enough, right? Now, answer me this question. All that working, how's life treating you? If we don't claim this, the debt won't come down, y'all. We gotta be good Americans. Americans are good accountants. Okay? Good accountants mean we know how to offset debt. Meaning we know how to discharge what we create. So if I created an application, I better know how to discharge that. Or I'm gonna be indebted for a very long time. I'm gonna keep paying that shit. Okay? I want y'all to understand this. You go shopping, you buy something, you buy it. That's it. You don't pay the store $30 a month for whatever you go get. No. So if you buy a house, if you buying these things and you still have to keep paying, you know what that means? That means obviously it's not yours. Okay? So if you're paying a 40-year mortgage, right? You're paying God damn. Can you imagine paying something for 40 years? I know I gotta work for 40 years because I gotta get you out the way. Come on. And then what was killing me and why I stay posting is because now the kids suffer, bro. Right? Our people don't know nothing else. So what you think they gonna teach their kid? That's why back in the day, it was so proud for a woman to have a son. Men inherit estates. Period. Bottom line, that's it. You can't debate with God. Go meet him. Go up there and meet him and talk. You can't debate with God. Okay? So men inherit. That's why when a woman had a son, it was such a big thing. Okay? It was a big thing because now they saying, oh, look, finally, we got a lawful heir that can carry all of us. It's a male. I'm estate planning for my kids' legacy. To sit back. To not put your all in it, especially if you got more than one kid, to not put your all in this shit and to not fully understand it is crazy to me. Everything is in the law. So I'm going to use the law against them, just like Christ did. I'm going to challenge their statutes and codes, just like Christ did. I'm going to challenge your beliefs and customs, just like Christ did. So understand, I'm going to do the same thing I seen my father do. Period. Okay, if God said it, it's to be true. I don't care what the state of New Jersey said. I don't care what the state of North Carolina said. Because that's Walmart. I don't care what Walmart said. Okay? Walmart don't have no type of authority over me unless I have a contract. Okay? So if there's no contract, right? You have no dealings at all. And you have a right to contract. You have a right to say no. Okay? You have a God-given right to say, I don't want a contract. Okay? I do not want to do commerce with you. I don't want to contract with you. I'm not doing business. I'm not for hire. That's what we got to understand, okay? The United States is here to do commerce and trade. Okay? United States is here to do commerce and trade. It don't give citizenship. It's going to tell you that. You're a citizen. I don't want citizenship from Walmart. Okay? You can't identify yourself from that. Can you imagine, this is what y'all want y'all to see. Can you imagine using your work ID? That's what's going on. It's like if I work somewhere, right? And then I use that as my real ID everywhere. They're going to like, yo, this is it's an employee at KFC. You can't use this. It does not identify. That's what y'all doing. Y'all getting a so-called ID from Kmart. And because they made other entities have to do it because they're running them. Accept it for identification. But if you go to the Department of Justice, free of charge, look up identification. Does a birth certificate identify? Do an ID identify? Department of Justice. And you're going to read boldly that these instruments does not identify you. So I be asking people, who are you then? Because you're going to keep saying you that birth certificate. And if that doesn't identify, who are you? Okay? So you're going to play surety. You're going to pay a debtor. Now you're responsible. I'm saying I'm going to put the corporation in front and say, That's responsible. Oh, you want to take me to jail? No, take him to jail. No, you want me to pay a ticket? No, he paid a ticket. You want me to pay rent? No, he pays the rent. You understand what I'm saying? I'm saying they gave you an entity where that's going to handle all your financial. You ain't got to work. You ain't going to have, all you got to do is administrate. Okay? Now, once you administrate the estate, you can handle debts. You can issue bonds. You can issue credit. Does this make sense? It's financial business. It's financial literacy. It's just all business, okay? We got to understand that. If we understand, look, yo, at birth, nothing was birth. They created a corporation, okay? When I get older, I'm supposed to run that corporation, not get a job. Okay, this is all this is. If we could break it down to its simplest form, it's not me. It's a business that I'm supposed to run when I get older, when I reach the age of majority. I'm supposed to now take the seat from my father, right? And then sit in the seat and be the executor over the estate now that I've reached the age of majority. That's it. All right, let me just say, right? So if it's a car, it's paid for, okay? If it's a mortgage, it's paid. The house is paid for. If it's a court, even if it's a municipality, and if it's a magistrate judge, then these Article 1 courts, and they don't have jurisdiction, okay? So municipalities don't have jurisdiction over you. They got jurisdiction over the birth certificate, okay? I literally have my females do this. They're literally going to court, and they're saying, here's the birth certificate. That's not me. I'm the agent, okay? And a female did this, okay? She was tough. She really understood it. She told me she was nervous and all, but she did it, and she got the reward, okay? It was a credit card debt, okay? They took her to court. They tried to sue her, okay? She sent them the letter. She let them know what was going on. They took her to court. When she got to court, they asked her, do you want to settle? Do you want to pay? She said no, okay? They asked her, are you Serena? She said, I am not Serena. This is Serena. I am the agent for Serena, okay? And before the lawyer could walk, she said, before the lawyer could walk back over to his desk, the judge said, okay, I heard enough. I'm going to dismiss this matter. You just got to prove who the debtor is, and it ain't you. See, this is really about families, and I want y'all to understand this, right? The Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, everything you keep naming is family, okay? They understand estates. They understand securities. So what I'm saying is, if you want a powerful family, this is what it's about. It's about estate planning. This is how you start that generational wealth, okay? This is the Rockefellers plan. Okay, so if you understand the Rockefeller Trust and how they set up their trust to be a bank, and how they set up their insurance policy to pay them, and they could borrow from the insurance policy and pay it back with the estate. Okay, so it's like I'm borrowing from myself. See, what's happening is people keep seeing that name, and when that name pop up, they keep thinking it's them, right? So when something come in that name, they automatically think in liability, right? They automatically think, oh, liability. I gotta do this. But if you understand a fiduciary debt, it doesn't mean something you have to pay, okay? It means something that you have to perform, okay? It means a performance. You owe an obligation, meaning sign or sending something somewhere, okay? You don't owe. The game come with the money, okay? Monopoly comes with the money. It's already, all the money you're going to need, it's already there. We're late to the party. It's time for us to wake up and claim our shit. The reason why other nations be ahead of us is because they like the law. Think about it. When you see them Europeans or Germans, or you see that their grandfather be judges, cops, something to do with the law. So of course their life is better, but it's not because of their skin, cuz. It's not because of their skin, right? I could look up, I'll show you the Black's Law Dictionary, right? Of free white persons, right? And you can see that white does not mean Caucasian race. Okay? It doesn't mean Aryan race. It does not mean Caucasian people. So it's not because of their skin. It's because they have a better understanding of this transaction than you. And you refuse to learn the law. So you fail. You suck. Okay? You're going to have a not so good life like them because you don't know. It's like right now when y'all seeing me, right? I'm going to live a little bit better because I know something you don't know. And that's what it's about. It's not about the skin color. When you see something happen to them in his favor, you need to think to yourself, they know something I don't know. Not they because they white. No, they're doing something in the private that you just don't know about. And they always get a good favor respond when they go to court because they handled it already in the private. But at the end of the day, when you're not emotional and you understand what the woman did, okay? I'm not shaming nobody, man. I'm really not. I'm just showing you, right, that if you're not conscious of what you do, right, it can really affect your family and your child. Okay? Born out of wedlock. This is 2025. This is my new baby. It's my new baby. And as smart as I am, and I'm born out of wedlock. What the? Hold up. I read that in the Bible. Illegitimate children. And so you saying my innocent child that just came in this earth ain't do nothing to nothing, he born out of wedlock? He can't inherit? No one's claiming him and y'all step in? No. I can't let that go down. See, when I was dumb and I didn't know no better, cool, you got me. Okay? So I don't know how you're gonna feel when you go get everything from the hospital and you see that. Why did y'all even put that on there? Why would that be even mentioned? Like, okay? And why are you calling them illegitimate? And to who? Who's this being reported? Like, who's writing this down? And where is it going? And why is he born out of wedlock? And what are y'all trying to do with it? Like, now I understand the transaction. Okay? Now I understand what they was creating. Okay? Why they gave me a book and page number. And he's my third son. Okay? 3 kings, like the Bible say. I got 3 kings, okay? And when my child was born on the 1st, he was registered number 1. But I just want y'all to understand, yo. We're going by covenants. We're going by customs. We're going by the Bible. It's showing you that the law and the banking system and the corporations are mimicking God's law, right? And if we don't claim our estates, we're considered debtors. We're considered a resident. You're considered a taxpayer. You're born out of wedlock. Your name is tarnished. You don't get to inherit the estate. And in law, if you don't rebut the presumption, that means that the presumption stands as true. Okay? So if I didn't rebut that presumption that my son wasn't born out of wedlock, if I didn't rebut this, okay, that my child wasn't born out of wedlock, I couldn't claim, I couldn't have his estate. Okay? I couldn't have his estate. Okay? So I'm showing y'all how to claim shit in America. In America, you got to claim shit and you got to put a lien on shit. Even your children. Okay? If you own it, you put a lien on it. That way nobody get to violate it. And if they do violate it, you get to sue them for trespassing. Does that make sense? Okay? So you need to put everything you own and you need to lock it up in a trust. Okay? And you need to put a lien on it. Okay? And until you do that, you don't own nothing. And again, if you're a woman, you can't do it. Okay? Listen, I didn't make it up. I'm not making this shit up. I'm saying the best thing that you can be is a trustee, a co-trustee. Okay? That's the best thing that you can be. The best thing that you can be is in a trust with your husband and your family, and that's what gives you power. Okay? If a woman is not in that capacity, she doesn't have power. Her dad must claim her. That's why when they walk down the aisle, right? Who she's coming down the aisle with? She's coming down the aisle with her father. Right? She's coming down the aisle with her father, and then her father gives her away. Right? To the man. Meaning she's always with a man. There's not no time where a woman is not with a man. Protected and taken care of. Period. hold on. So the only way I can enjoy my estate if I'm married or if my son. So just think about it. If you 30, 25, have a kid, right? When your son, what, 21? So you got to think about that. You ain't going to see your estate till about, what, 50, 40, 46? When you could have just be married, you could, or you could find your dad. Or you can find your daddy, put your daddy here and say, Daddy, look, you never claimed me, dog. When you stop trying to be lit and just be yourself, life will go a lot more smoother for you.